Okay. Gauranga.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I would like to welcome you all for His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj's daily call. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Sorry, the volume was too loud, was it?
You broke a few decimals.
Sorry.
Decibels. You went to the highest extreme you could possibly go. Couldn't
Sorry.
hear you couldn't hear any of the words. All you could hear was sound.
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. Sorry.
Yeah, bring it down where you could hear the word. I couldn't hear anything he was singing. It was just so much background kirtan. It was just overwhelming.
Okay. Next
Okay.
time I'll keep it low. Sorry. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, verses 3 and 4.
Okay.
With your permission, I'll share my screen, Maharaj.
Proceeded Chaitanya is in two places at once here.
Okay. Krishna can be anywhere, wherever he wants, isn't he? There we go. Let me know, Maharaj, when you see my screen, please.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Rajovacha Sutra Shatru Bhagavata Matrayena Sangamaha Kadasvasaha Samvado Eta Varnaya Na Prabho. Translation. The king asked Sukadev Goswami, where and when did the meeting and discussion take place between Saint Vidura and His Grace Maitreya Muni? Kindly oblige, my lord, and describe this to us. The Sukadev Goswami is being asked by King Parikshit. He wants to know. Vidura left home to meet Maitreya. He wants to know where they met and what was the discussion. Purport. Exactly as Sanaka Rishi inquired of Sutta Goswami, and Sutta Goswami replied, so Srila Sukadev Goswami replied to King Parikshit's inquiries. The king was very anxious to understand the meaningful discussion that took place between the two great souls. Text 4. Nayalpatodayastasya vidurasya malatmanaha tasmin variyasi prashna saruvadopabrimhitaha. Translation. Saint Vidura was a great and pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his questions to His Grace Rishi Maitreya must have been very purposeful on the highest level and approved by learned circles. So he's making a conjecture here. Questions and answers among different classes of men have different value. Questions and answers among different classes of men have different value. Inquiries by mercantile men in a business exchange cannot be expected to be highly purposeful in spiritual values. Questions and answers by different classes of men can be guessed by the caliber of the persons concerned. In the Gita discussion between Lord Shri Krishna and Arjuna, the Supreme Person, and the Supreme Devotee, respectively, the Lord admitted Arjuna to be his devotee and friend, and therefore any sane man can guess that the discussion was on the topic of the Bhakti Yoga system. Actually, the whole Bhagavad Gita is based on the principle of Bhakti Yoga. There is a difference between karma and karma yoga. Karma is regulated activity for the enjoyment of the fruit by the performer, but karma yoga is action performed by devotee for the satisfaction of the Lord. Karma yoga is based on bhakti or pleasing the Lord, whereas karma is based on pleasing the senses of the performer himself. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, one is advised to approach a bona fide spiritual master when one is actually inclined to question from an elevated level of spiritual understanding. A common man who has no interest in spiritual values has no need to approach a spiritual master just as a matter of following fashion. As a student, Maharaj Parikshit was serious about the science of God, and Sukadeva Goswami was a bona fide spiritual master in the transcendental science. Both of them knew that the topics discussed by Vidura and Rishi Maitreya were elevated, and thus Maharaj Parikshit was very interested in learning from the bona fide spiritual master. Om Agyan Timidandasya Gena Jena Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvase Sasunyavadi Pastyatya De Satarine Vancha Kalpa Terubhischa Kripa Sindhu Pacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So questions and answers have value only when the questions and answers have some element of exchange based on the benefit of both the questioner and the person who's responding to the question. In this case, we are focusing not on something material, but on something spiritual. So questions and answers amongst great souls have value both for the hearer of the questioner and the responder, and at the same time, those who hear that dialogue. Therefore, you see that devotees are always interested in hearing discussions between the Lord and his devotees, or between two great personalities, because there's so much valuable information that could be gleaned out of these discussions that one can use for their own spiritual elevation. Here, Prabhupada makes a point between karma and karma yoga. This is sometimes a question that devotees like to ask, what's the difference? So here, karma is simply action and reaction within the three modes of nature. That means it's material. Karma yoga means to connect with, in this case, connect with the Supreme Lord. So karma yoga, what's the difference between karma yoga and bhakti yoga? As Prabhupada said, karma is based on bhakti, but still there is a difference. What is that difference? Karma yoga means you choose your activities that you want to do, and you offer some of the results to the Lord as devotion. Just like you may go to work and you make some money, and you use a portion of that money to further religious principles in the world. That would be karma yoga, because you're working, you're taking a bit of it for your maintenance, but you're also giving a portion of that for the propagation of religious principles. So therefore, the spiritual element is there, and therefore it is considered to be yoga. And that's just one. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita actually the essence of karma yoga. What is that verse from the 9th chapter? Yat karosi yaranasi, yat jahosi dadasi, yat tapasi tukonteya, tat kurusha mararpani. All that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities you may perform, should be done as an offering to me. That's karma yoga. That's karma yoga. Bhakti yoga means to work under the guidance of the spiritual master and follow the instructions in terms of the activities performed. And therefore, that's the difference. One doesn't simply do what they want to do and offer the results. One does what the spiritual master asks and offers the result. That's the difference between bhakti and karma. They're very similar, and therefore sometimes we see people who don't have a clear understanding of the distinction between the two mix these two up. That there is a philosophy in the world called work is worship. It's called karma mimamsa philosophy. Was it Janini was called karma mimamsa guru? Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy. Yeah, and he had that, all right, go to work, and because you have to work in order to get what you need in order to live in this world, because it's your requirement, it can be seen as something, as a way, work is worship. That's the ultimate. But Krishna shot that down when during the time when he saw his father about to perform the yajna towards Indra in order to please Indra, in order to get Indra to give them what they need as agriculturists, which is rain. But Krishna said, rain will come anyway. It comes on the rocks, it comes on the ocean, it'll come. There's no need to worship any deva for that. And he's pretty much shut down the whole idea of karma mimamsa and said, ultimately, what is our duty? Our duty is that we are very much dependent on the cows and Govardhan Hill to provide everything we need for our agriculture needs and for our livelihood. Let's turn our attention towards that. And of course, after some discussion, Nanda Maharaj agreed. But the point was that this karma, people think, yeah, as long as I do my work, I do it honestly, then that is also worship. No, it's not. It's for you. Bhakti, which is the essence of the soul's existence, bhaktyamam avajanati yavanyas tattva. Bhakti is the only thing that can please the Lord, because bhakti means to sacrifice for the benefit of the Lord. In other words, to give up what we like to do and do what the Lord asks us to do based on the principle of pleasing the Lord. In other words, not just working or not just doing, but the mood should be that let me offer to this activity as a offering to the Lord with a desire to please Him. And the Lord is easily pleased if that mood is there. Even if there's imperfection in the activity, still, if the devotee has this mood of pleasing the Lord accepts that mood over the results of the activity. So that is bhakti. Bhakti is not based on any kind of what we say material arrangement. It's the nature of the soul to serve the Lord, and when that service is directed or guided by the spiritual master, then that service is acceptable and offerable to Krishna. Now that's the difference here. So here we're going to hear about, this is actually a prelude to a discussion between two great souls. Actually, you'll see Vidura went to Uddhava first before he went to Maitreya Rishi. Uddhava was more qualified to speak true eternal religious principles than Maitreya Rishi. But Maitreya Rishi was more senior in age, and therefore Uddhava, in his natural humility, directed Vidura towards Maitreya Rishi. And that was interesting because Uddhava is a confidential associate of the Lord. He's also the cousin of the Lord. Both Krishna's father, Vasudeva, had many brothers, and one of the brothers sons was actually Uddhava, so they were cousins. But Uddhava was so close to Krishna that when Krishna left the planet, he gave Uddhava some special instructions to carry out after he left the planet, just to pacify persons who would feel separation from Krishna after his departure. So Uddhava was very intimate associate of the Lord, Uddhava, but Uddhava, out of his natural humility, diverted towards Maitreya Rishi, and so the discussion happens between them. It says Maitreya Rishi wasn't even a pure devotee, but he understood the science of bhakti, and he was considered a rishi. He still has some material contamination. It doesn't describe it, but it says that in comparison to Uddhava, Uddhava was much more advanced spiritually and more qualified to speak eternal religious principles. But out of his natural humility, because he was younger than Maitreya Rishi, he pointed Vidura to Maitreya Rishi. So we'll hear those discussions. It goes on for many chapters throughout the third canto, at least in the beginning of the third canto. So it says devotees, they want to hear these discussions because discussions on this level are beneficial for everyone, both for the hearer, the questioner, and the person who is responding to the question. Everyone benefits. And just like when Maharaj Parikshit had asked Sukadeva Goswami, which is mentioned on the beginning of the second canto. He asked a very interesting and glorious question that was so much liked by Sukadeva Goswami that he thanked him for the question. And he said, your question is glorious because it's beneficial for everyone. And he asked him, what is the purpose or what is the duty of a man about to die? Of course, Maharaj Parikshit was in that situation where he only had 7 days left. But it's a question that applies to everyone because everyone is under the time factor. So time affects everyone, and everyone has to leave their present situation and go on to the next situation. So the question, as Sukadeva Goswami responded, he said, this is beneficial for the entire human culture. It's the perfect question. You couldn't ask a better question. So he was glorified for asking that question, and Sukadeva Goswami took that question and answered it in so many ways, which is the science of bhakti. Opened up the whole discussion for the entire Bhagavatam. And he's asking Sukadeva Goswami, what are these two personalities going to say to each other? We want to hear. Please give me this knowledge. So devotees are always interested in hearing. Hearing is the most important part of our practice of devotional service. Based on what we hear, we can also speak. Based on what we speak, we can remember. But everything starts from hearing. The 9 processes of bhakti all connect with the process of hearing. Before you can chant, you have to hear. Before you remember, you hear. Before you worship, you hear. Before you serve, you hear. Everything is based on the science of hearing. Sound vibration is actually the principle of creation. And sound gives information in direction in life. So sound is the most important. And the process of hearing goes beyond the intelligence and goes right into the heart when that knowledge is coming from the qualified person. So just like, for instance, when Srila Prabhupada would be traveling with his Western disciples in India, sometimes he would have to give lectures in Hindi. In one place, he was giving morning lectures in English and Hindi lectures in the same place in the evening. So when he would start his Hindi lectures, some of the Western disciples would start getting up to leave. I said, "Where are you going? Sit down." He said, "Even if you don't understand, it doesn't matter. The sound vibration is pure, and therefore there is benefit." So it cuts across even, linguistic barriers when we hear pure sound vibration. And Prabhupada talks about himself as the qualification that made him so dear to his spiritual master. When his Prabhupada's godbrothers, who were already situated in their devotional activity, said to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, "I think you should give initiation to Abhay." Prabhupada's name was Abhay Charan. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, "Yes, he likes to hear." And Prabhupada would say that. I would sit and I would listen to my spiritual master, and he would speak in such elevated terms, I didn't even know what he was saying, but still I would listen. And so Prabhupada uses that as an example for his own development. He liked to hear. So if we hear from the right source, and of course, the source also represents the subject matter. And what is that subject matter? What is the goal of life and how to reach that goal? Who is Krishna? What is our relationship with him? And what is our connection with him to what is our activities that connects us with Krishna, which is the activities of bhakti, like that. These are the essential principles or subject matters that a devotee requires in order to achieve the goal. What is the goal? To ultimately awaken what is already there within the heart of the living entity, love for Krishna. So out of the 9 processes of bhakti, hearing is the most important. And each of the 9 processes, each of the other 8 processes require hearing as part of the execution of that particular anga or that particular limb of bhakti. So hearing is so important. And reading is also hearing. Sometimes we get into a discussion, what's more effective? Should we read or should we hear the sound vibration? Prabhupada would always opt saying it's better to hear. Reading is also hearing, but he says better when you actually hear the sound vibration from the lips of a qualified person. And then you not only get the knowledge, but you also get the mood of that knowledge, which is the bhakti of the speaker. And then that has more of an effect on our conscience. In other words, we absorb that easier. Reading has an advantage in the sense that when we read something, we can stop and go back over and read it again, just in case we need more understanding of what we're reading. There's the benefit in reading. But the whole system of bhakti centers around disciple hearing from guru. There's a section of the Vedas called the Upanishads. Upanishad means to sit down near. Upanishad, sit down near. Who? The disciple sits down near the spiritual master and hears. And therefore, by that hearing, that person also becomes qualified to speak. And then from that, then they make others qualified to speak. And that's how the tradition of bhakti expands and spreads everywhere through the hearing process, like that. So here is very important to see how eager Maharaj Parikshit is to hear. He's already hearing from Sukadeva Goswami, but when he hears about 2 great souls will come together and discuss, he wants to know more. So devotees are like that. Prabhupada said, devotee wants to know everything. Of course, we can't know everything, but the desire to know everything is an indication of a sincere or serious devotee like that. Okay, so we can open it up for questions. If you like, you can close those curtains.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. There was another powerful class on hearing, and we should understand the difference between the hearing and just listening as well, you know. Thank you. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Sorry.
Yeah, going in one ear and out the other.
Yes. Hold on. Dear devotees, please can you start your videos if you can? That'll be so nice to see. Take your darshan. And also, if you have any questions, please raise your hand and I can give you the chance, or else type in the chat and I'll read on your behalf.
I have 6 eager Vaishnavas sitting here in the room, all who are very expert at asking questions.
Brilliant.
So just in case we run out, we have a reserve team here ready to jump in.
I think this topic is so important. Their hands are raised already. Rishabha Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, and dear Vaishnavas, please accept my humble obeisances. Do you hear me well?
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
I was reflecting, Maharaj, on the aspect you were mentioning from the verse that Vaishnavas like to hear about Krishna. They like to hear from other Vaishnavas speaking about Krishna to deepen their spiritual journey. And actually, this is, so far, this means that this person is eager for spiritual advancement, that he's really serious, and that is the main goal of life. And we see that majority of even ISKCON devotees, they are more like into a karma yoga or jnana yoga, or just like live comfortably and be Krishna something, whatever. If do they have this? Do I have a correct impression, or?
Well, you mean casual hearers, you mean?
I don't. Yeah, as I said, the real true devotee really actually is eager to hear. Is eager to advance, but we don't see so many of these eager devotees around us.
No, it depends where you are. That's good. Knowing where you are, I can understand that.
Okay. I'm not crazy. That's good.
But there are some, I think our society is made up of devotees who are eager to hear. Whenever there is classes or programs, places fill up. Devotees like to hear. I never find any shortage of people who don't who like to hear. It's always like that. Our classes are always well attended. You find even in our temples. When the majority of people always come for class, and people from the outside also even make trips to the temple to come for classes. So I see an eagerness, at least wherever I go. And of course, there's others who maybe are more inclined to.
Hare Hare Krishna. Okay.
There's some disturbances from somewhere. Everyone is muted, but I don't know.
For instance, there are persons who like to serve and they don't hear as much as others or don't have the same eagerness. They like to do things. That's fine. That's nice. That's the results of hearing is serving anyway. We don't discredit that. There are persons who, but then there's others who just would rather be doing something else, and they haven't understood the importance of transcendental sound. Because transcendental sound is not like material sound. It awakens the soul's nature to want to serve.
Is it needed pure Shraddha, Maharaj, for that? Because it sounds like a really high level of pure Shraddha that somebody is like, taking serious what is written in the Shastra and what Guru says.
I don't think it's so rare. The question is how we process what we hear. Sometimes we filter it. Just for instance, in the Padma Purana, it mentions there are 4 principles. 3 plus 1 is that the process of hearing is to qualification of the speaker. So you have to understand, is that person qualified to speak? And if you conclude that, then that's one principle. That I can hear from him or her, and that person, whatever they say, is actually in line with the teachings of the Shastra, the teachings of the spiritual masters. Humility. Second is not to filter what is being said through your own interpretations, but to hear with rapt attention, with a desire to understand. That's the second qualification. Third qualification is called destroying the faults of the mind. And that means when the mind wanders, bring it back to the sound vibration. Wanders again, bring it back. So we see that, just like if you give a class, you can see who's listening and who's half listening and who's not listening at all. It's easy to see. You can't hide when you're sitting there. You're exposed. And after following these 3 principles, the results are one of 2 things. One, you get realizations based on the knowledge you receive, and you agree with what you hear, and it gives you an understanding of that knowledge. And if that doesn't happen, then questions. So if you don't get either realizations or you don't ask questions, that means you just weren't hearing. You just weren't hearing.
Gurudev, that's because we said that the attendance is big, but as you said, how many of them are actually listening?
It's hard to say. You can't really judge, but we say that the mind has a tendency to wander. Chanchala hi mana Krishna pramati balavadritha. Tasyaham nigamam manye vayur idam saduskaram. Arjun so spoke that to Krishna. You're asking me to control the mind, but I think it's like controlling the wind. So to hear with rapt attention, Prabhupada speaks about that in the Bhagavatam. He says this is the qualification for hearing with rapt attention. Rapt means absorption in the sound. And then he says, no one can hear with rapt attention unless they're pure in mind. And no one can be pure in mind unless they're pure in action. And no one can be pure in action unless they're pure in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. In other words, the bodily activities. But then after saying that, Prabhupada said, but somehow hear. Try to hear. So when the mind wanders, bring it back. Listen. And when you actually listen, you actually not only hear what is being said, you hear the mood that is being said in, which gives it more clarification on the actual sound vibration. In other words, you learn more. You can kind of understand the motivation behind the sound. So it's an art. We actually give seminars on hearing, how to increase the quality of one's hearing. But one can practice. The problem is that because we live in this world of noise, useless noise, the mind has a tendency to block out that useless noise so it could protect itself from it. And therefore, this blocking system sometimes comes into play when we're trying to hear also transcendental knowledge. We have to shut down that blocking system now and open up our receptivity. So you see, sometimes we're used to being bombarded with so much sound that the mind shuts down as a protective agency. But then you have to open it up again when you're in the right association. Sometimes we don't. We keep the shutdown going. So that could be a problem.
Does that help, Rishabha Prabhu?
Thank you very much. Really, really useful skill for every devotee to learn.
True.
Thank you. Okay, well, we have a question from Chaitanya, Prasidra Chaitanya, who's sitting with me right here.
Mhm.
Hare Krishna, Gurunas. Please accept my humble obeisances and no question. Guruman, do you know about the
Right.
do you know about the Vidur Maharaj? Who was the Maitri Muni?
You'll learn about him. You don't hear about him until this section of the Bhagavatam. He's a great Muni. There's some description of him also, a little bit about his life in the Bhagavatam. But Uddhava pointed to Maitreya rather than accepting the role of speaking to Vidura. Maitreya Muni was elderly, and he had a reputation of, of being a great Muni, but he wasn't pure devotee. That's the point. He was not an ordinary devotee, but he wasn't completely pure.
Because Maitri Muni was younger to Uddhav, that is why he suggests to
No, Maitreya Muni was older than Uddhava. Yeah. He Parasara Muni. Yeah. Let's see. Do I?
Okay.
I'm,
Guru Maharaj, is it okay if I ask one question piggybanking on that question?
I want to. Let's see. One before you
Mhm.
go. That I want to do something here.
Okay.
Try to figure out how to escape here.
Just press the escape button or the line on the side so that it goes below. On
Yeah.
the top there will be a little dash icon which you can press.
I escaped.
Okay, perfect.
I'm good at escaping. That's all I do. Escape from one. Let's see if I can find something on Maitreya Muni on my own notes here. Mhm. Mhm. Oh, Maitreya. Okay. 119.10. Okay.
Do you want me
So
to share it?
yeah, go to 119.10. First Canto, 19th chapter, verse number 10.
119:10. Okay, let's go
I
on
think we
that.
just did that class. Yeah.
Uh,
And somebody did it just 2 days ago, 119:10.
Okay, so
Okay, First Canto,
first
chapter
canto, 19th chapter.
19. Oh, I was thinking of 9. So
Okay.
119,
119:10, yeah? Or 1910, Guru Maharaj? 119, you said, yeah?
19:10. One 19, 9, and 10. Okay.
Mhm.
Go down the page. Keep going down, 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 down. Down, down, down. Angiram, Devala, Gautama.
Maitreya.
Okay. A great rishi of yore, he was a spiritual master of Vidur and a great religion. He advised Dhritarashtra to keep good relationship with the Pandavas. Duryodhana disagreed and thus was cursed by him. He met Vyasadeva and had a religious discourses with him. Doesn't give you much, but anyway, this 2 sentences. Obviously, there's not much known about him.
Mm.
Okay. Amritanam.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, while you were answering Bishop Prabhu, there were quite many interesting points which hit me, and based on that, I have a question, which is a japa-oriented question. We usually have always the low and high graph forming in during when we are doing japas. It's like sometimes the japas are very smooth, sometimes they're the mind is just bothering and like that. So what I am trying right now is not paying attention to whether it is high or whether it is low, just trying to steady myself in whatever the mind is saying. In short, just watching whether it's good, whether it's bad. So is that a good idea, or keep endeavoring? Because when they are low, we I really get disturbed that what is going on, what is going on, what is happening. So just watching them is also good, or
Watching the
we
mind.
need to endeavor.
You're talking about watching the mind.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, not react.
um, usually, I mean, Prabhupada responded to a question about a person said, when I try to chant, I have so much trouble controlling my mind. Prabhupada said, what is this mind? Forget about it. Just here, he said. So push the mind out and just focus on the sound vibration. When the mind comes back in, go back to the sound vibration. Keep doing that until you can stay connected to the sound vibration. The mind will come in, but once the mind gets to once your consciousness gets connected to the sound, then it can overshadow the dictates of the mind, and the mind won't disturb anymore. Because then even the mind surrenders, and then the mind is feeling the same satisfaction as the soul is. But because the mind keeps bothering, then you have to just ignore the mind. Really, it's about ignoring the mind. Just tell it, shut. Hey, rascal, we're in it together. Listen, if you don't do it, I'm not going to feed you today. Oh, really? I don't get my favorite sweet ball? That's right. And you're not going to get anything else either. All right, I'll listen. You can threaten it. We did our seminar last April on Manashiksha, which was instructions to the mind by Raghunath Das Goswami. So he cajoles his mind, he berates his mind, he begs his mind, he jokes with his mind. In other words, he approaches the mind differently to get the mind to respond to the soul's needs. And basically, he tells where to direct the mind. So Prabhupada made it simple. He said, just try to hear.
So, Guru Maharaj, if we are trying to ignore the mind, then how can we talk to the mind?
Well, give it a little bit of a chastisement and go on.
Okay.
But Krishna makes one point in the 11th canto where he says that controlling the mind is like controlling a horse. And he said the horse is controlled by the reins. You hold the reins of the horse and you direct the horse. If you pull too tightly on the reins, the horse will jump. And if you don't pull strong enough, in other words, if you're too loose, the horse will go whatever way it wants to. So Krishna was suggesting the middle road, how to control the mind. Gradually take the mind and move it in the direction you want it to go through the process of hearing, like that.
Okay. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
It's all about the mind. The whole process of bhakti is about directing the mind towards Krishna or towards the activities in devotion. That's the essence, really. That's
So,
why,
Guru Maharaj,
the whole chapter,
yeah.
whole chapter of Bhagavad Gita is about, mind control.
Okay.
And
Yes,
there's so many
Maharaj.
verses in Bhagavatam also. Read about it.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Bhavya Prabhu.
Great.
You're on.
Can I go on with the questions?
Yeah.
So I have 3 to 4 questions regarding Jamin Rishi and Karma Mimamsa, and 2 questions related to Upanishads. So it's like 6 questions. Is that okay?
He has 6 questions, so
I'll try to keep it short.
his mind can function at 6 points at one time.
Brilliant. Go for it.
Then I can only handle one at a time. So let's begin anyway.
So Maharaj, the first question is, Jamin Rishi is the disciple of Vedas. So why is he writing these
Vamimamsa.
Karma Kand sutras? And like
Why is he doing it?
Yeah.
He's taking one aspect of knowledge and making that the foremost. The principle of duty, of how one should understand what their duty is and do their duty as an offering to the Lord. But he expanded that definition of duty into the realm of one's, what we say, material duty or swadharma. He gets into the area of swadharma. But Krishna shoots it down. There's a nice book that has there's six what we call personalities. And most of them have different understandings of the process of spiritual process. There's Patanjali Sutras, Jaimini's Karma Mimamsa, and then of course, ultimately it's Sabda coming from Vyasadeva. And there's three more. I can't remember. Do you remember the other three?
Nyaya.
Hmm?
Nyaya, Samkhya,
Yeah, logic and reason.
and Samkhya by
Hmm?
balance. Yeah.
What is-
Rajasic darshan and Samkhya darshan.
Sankhya. But usually that Sankhya uses by the Kapila, who is an atheist. Okay, so why is, Jaimini speaking something that is not, these are all philosophies that are accepted up to as processes that contain elements of bhakti, but therefore Sabda is considered to be the highest and most purest. I have a book on that. I don't have it with me here, but it's really nice about the six philosophers and their philosophies.
Usually, the ultimate thing is that an Ishwar Pranidhan. So all the philosophy ultimate is surrender to the Lord. Ishwar Pranidhan means.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Patanjali is, some of his sutras are actually pure devotional statements. Yeah. But there's other things in there too. That's the problem.
The different, the people, the audience, those who want to take, like the Karma Kanda, like for the Karmi, those who want to take the Karma Kanda.
Yeah. It's, in other words, it's broad enough to include many types of people, or people with different levels of acumens who can only accept a certain level of practice. Yeah, just to bring people in. Okay, one more.
Can I ask two?
One at a time.
Okay. Yeah. The Jaimini Sutras, which is the Karanamamsa or Purvanamamsa, in there are some sutras which are really beneficial for Vaishnava interpretations. Like there is a Suktam from the Rigved branch. It's called Shiva Sankalpa Suktam. So it is like dedicated to Narayana, but if we miss it, like if we take it as it is, some verses as it is, then it shows supremacy of Lord Shiva. But if we use the Jaimini Sutras, through those sutras we can interpret it for Vishnu supremacy, because it's like it says that sometimes we have to take the second verse as first.
Second meaning.
Yeah, so it's like that. So can we use Karma Mimamsa in that for like proving Lord Vishnu supremacy that time?
We don't need that. We have so much evidence from the acharyas. We don't need that.
But it's a Shruti reference.
Well, Bhagavad Gita is the essence. That's Smriti,
Yeah.
which is a commentary on the Shrutis. Just stick with Gita. Bhagavatam. Ultimately, what else? What other scripture is important? Of course, and the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, which are pure devotional service. These are people who like to explore different philosophical terminologies and make some comparative statements. It's more or less, it's a Gyani move. It's all about Gyanis. Wrangling this way and that way and that way. You can go right to the essences. What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? What is the last verse in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita?
647. Yogina Sarvesha, Madhagatenantara.
Well, after speaking about the different yoga systems, he ends with that one, which kind of sums up everything he says by giving the conclusion. One who abides in me in transcendental faith is most intimately united with me and is the highest of all. So, I mean, you can go to all these and have fun. You'll never get to the conclusion.
But Maharaj, there are some people who don't believe in the Smriti Shastra that much. They are called Shrotas.
They don't believe in Smriti Shastras.
Like they believe, but they keep Shruti as like higher priority.
Yeah, but Smriti is commentaries on the Shrutis, which are more understandable. Who can understand the Shrutis?
So we can interpret those Shruti verses which are very confusing through Smritis as
Who's
well.
gonna interpret the Shruti verses? What is their qualifications? The only references we give to the Shrutis is mostly the Upanishads. And we do a lot of referencing of the Upanishads. That's the essence of the Shrutis also, the Upanishads. Yeah. If you come to the actual, that's why Veda Vyas divided that one Veda into 4 Vedas. And then he also made Mahabharata and Ramayana for people who can't even understand the 4 Vedas after he divided the one Veda. I mean, who has that, that Sukriti where they can understand Shrutis? And are they actually practicing it, or are they just Gyanis? Because if they're not practicing the knowledge that they're explaining, then it's just theoretical. That's all. Theoretical knowledge is incomplete knowledge. It has to come to Vigyan by practice. That's why Bhakti Siddhanta would say they're licking the outside of the honey bottle, because they're not actually engaged in devotional service. Only by devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So I know you like to explore the philosophical, tidal wave. And that's what it is.
But
It's
it
a,
becomes interesting
it's not a tidal wave, it's a tsunami.
Yeah. But now it becomes very easy when you like trying to just prove Lord Vishnu's glories through this. It just becomes very easy to understand.
If you can do that, but how many people you meet every day, you need to explain the Shrutis to them.
I do meet a lot of
What? People who actually read the Shrutis.
yeah, like I have also read many Shrutis, so like in debating I have to use some Jaimini sutras as well to defeat them.
But you have to come to the conclusion.
Yeah. Like,
The conclusion is Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. If you don't come to the conclusion, what is the use of defeating?
yeah. Because interpretation is also very needed in these confusing mantras.
Well, if you want to preach to certain people like that, then continue. But get them to chant Hare Krishna. Because, Harinam, Harinam, Harinam Eva Kevalam. That's spoken by the Lord himself. That is beyond the Shrutis.
Last question, Maharaj, regarding Upanishads.
Okay.
In the Upanishads, we see that there is a disciple and a guru. They're having like a Q&A session. Basically, the disciple is asking to the guru so many questions, but it comes under Shruti. Upanishad, they come under Shruti, so they have to be eternal. So how is it eternal? Like, because it looks like a history, it looks like a conversation that happened. So is it that these conversations they keep happening in every yuga like that? So that's how it is eternal. Because if we don't take that, then how can we
I mean, but the Acharyas have put all that together. They've done all of the work. All you have to take is the conclusion of the bona fide Vaishnava Acharyas. Mahajano Yena Katasa Panta. When you want to sit there all day wrangling about scripture, they've already done it. They made the conclusions. They came to the Siddhantas, and then they write about it, and then they speak about it. If you want to do the same work that they do, you come to the same conclusion. Just take what they say. Mahajano Yena Katasa Panta.
I do agree, but I still have a doubt on that. Like, spirituality has to be eternal. I just have a doubt on that. Like, is it something that is a historical incident though that is happening in Upanishad, or is it like something that keeps happening again and again, like Nitya? So that's why it
Well,
is in
they
this book.
say things happen in cycles,
Yeah.
not linear, but cyclical. Mm. Everything happens in cycles. In other words, it goes like this, not like this.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, it does happen.
are those souls also like liberated souls, because like the cycle is repeating? It's again same Satyakam Jabal Rishi and Gautam Muni. Satyakam Jabal Rishi and Gautam Muni again having that same discussion. So is it like repeating again and again? Are those souls like eternal, or it's like a position that keeps changing?
Oh, well, that also applies to Krishna's Leelas, where the Leelas are repeating, but the details are different. Not different, but well, there is differences in the details, not always completely different. Yeah. So those things happen. So you're asking them those whether the great sages also go through the same thing as Krishna does. In other words, Krishna performs his pastimes in different universes at one after another. But the same pastime is done in a slightly different way with more details and different personalities. So that's there. So you're saying the conversations of great souls, does that also happen in cyclical like that also?
Like in every yuga, it happen again and again.
It may, or may not. But when the authority is established, then what is the use of going through it again and again? That's why they write books. Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Pancharatra, Vidi, Vidam. All the knowledge is there within those categories. We're lucky we don't have to go through all of that. Prabhupada just gave it to us. If you want to do that, yeah, you come after 100 years, you'll come back to where you are now.
Do I my own begins to like this to prove that Srila Prabhupada has given everything in his books?
Well, for the sake of preaching, yeah.
Yeah.
We want to preach to that class of people. But how many times do we meet people on that level? I don't. Maybe you do in your college, in the schools, right?
Like online, I meet such people a lot.
But what is the benefit?
I mean, some people have got them in his own. That's something.
Hmm?
There are some people whom I debated and they converted.
Well, then continue.
There are many people
But you-
convert in general, like out of 100, 90 people will not convert, only 10 people will. But I feel it's worth it.
All right, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but very rarely do you change people's minds. Even if you, what we say, can clearly show that what they're saying is less or wrong and what you're saying is clearly right. Kali Yuga people don't accept defeat.
Yes.
Is it not a type of offense because one of the offenses is Ashadami people and
Yes.
Well, to speak the glories of the holy name to be faithless.
some debating like this and we are putting our energy and I don't know.
No, you are right actually. But if someone is like putting allegations on the scriptures and our Guru Parampara, then I feel it is their duty to actually defend.
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but you have to see what is the results. But if you just like philosophers for the sake of philosophy, then that's Gyani. That's all. Gyanis sit all day and just discuss things and nothing changes.
But Maharaj, like there are so many people in ISKCON, when they
Our movement
they
is
get
not,
very-
our movement, the devotees are not so educated.
yeah, exactly.
They're not. That's what we're trying to do. And we're establishing more systems for education. Prabhupada started that in 1974, the different, what we say, accreditations of knowledge based on the different levels of Shastra. Bhakti Shastra, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma. But even then, the thing is, I taught Bhakti Vedanta, I taught everything except Bhakti Sarvabhauma. Nobody's been teaching that yet. They're starting to begin that in Vrindavan now. With Narayani, she's also, I think, doing it. But I find that the devotees just do it for some accreditation and then they leave it. They don't use it. They don't go out and preach or write about it. There's a few that do, but very, very little. Take that knowledge to another level. That means writing books, writing articles, or going out and preaching. So we need more of that, more of these seminars, discussions like that. It's good for the mind too. It sharpens the mind. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. We've got 3 hands raised already here, Maharaj. If it is okay.
Okay. I know I'm going to get kept busy, so that's.
I know, but some of the things we could not hear. We were just trying our level hard. Anyways, Bhagwan Chaitanya, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Vaishnavas everywhere. Guru Maharaj, this is a morbid question. So I sometimes think about if I'm experiencing anarthas or some kind of difficulty, I always think about what is it that we can do in this material world. You can exploit some kind of material or some other jiva, or you can acquire, and let's call it acquisition of material or acquisition of prestige. I can't think of anything else you can do in this material world. So I think of, okay, what is
acquisition of what?
Pratishtha, prestige.
Prestige.
Yes. So, and I can't think of anything else you can do in this material world. And both of these are not going to come with me. So I try to think about what is permanent. What is permanent? That is what I should be doing.
In the material world, what is permanent?
No. I'm saying that is why I should avoid those things. The things I mentioned I should avoid because it is not permanent. So
what is permanent is a relationship with the Supreme Lord. That's permanent.
Exactly. Yes. So
and the knowledge that awakens that relationship is also permanent.
Mm-hmm.
And the activities that will awaken that relationship is also permanent.
Mm-hmm.
So why waste time with the impermanent?
Right. And in this context, Maharaj, I like to think about death. I sometimes think about death because it puts it into perspective that this is not permanent. So
it's a subject matter that's important. Sometimes we say there's 2 things you should remember and 2 things you should forget. 2 things you should forget is all the bad things that people done to you and all the good things that you done to others. The 2 things you should remember is that death can happen at any moment, and always remember Krishna.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's from Sri Sampradaya, but it's a good, if we can take it as,
Mm-hmm.
Shastra.
Yeah, and the reason we forget all the good things we do to others is so that we don't acquire prestige, like
false prestige.
False prestige, right.
But the point is that to remember that death can happen at any time makes you more serious about the goal of life and not wasting time in things that don't have any relevance to our actual benefit. We have to maintain the body. That's there. But the scriptures say, minimize the activity in that area. Do it, but do it not in a grandiose way, but in the basic way that covers all of the needs. That's all. And then use the rest of the time for the actual goal of life.
Maharaj. In this context, I remember a quote from I forget the Swami, he's not from our Sampradaya. He wrote the autobiography of a yogi, In
Oh,
that
yeah.
book, yeah, in that book, he mentions one particular quote. I'm paraphrasing. He says, "Give the body its due, but no more, because it's a treacherous friend." So,
Parmanand,
yes, yoga. Yes, Yogananda. Yeah.
Paramahansa
Yes.
Yogananda.
Yogananda. Yes.
That was the last book I read before I joined the
Oh,
Hare.
yeah.
It was pretty good.
It
What
was
is it?
good.
It's kind of a yoga. What is that called? That yoga? Paramahansa Yogananda. He teaches this kind of yoga.
Oh, yeah. It's almost on my tongue. It's Kriya Yoga.
Kriya yoga,
Yeah.
which is close to bhakti.
Mhm.
Yeah, but there's so much out there to stay with the essence. Gita is the foundation for all knowledge. Bhagavatam is the expansion of all knowledge. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is that knowledge in a living form. In other words, the life of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you read 4 books, plus Nectar of Devotion or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindha, you can gain all knowledge you need.
Mhm.
Because these are culminations of other scriptures, ultimately.
Yeah. And the third book, you're probably referring to Chaitanya Charitamrita.
What's that?
Is it the Chaitanya Charitamrita you're referring to as a third set of books? Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Charitamrita, and Nectar Devotion.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj.
The life of Lord Chaitanya and his teachings.
Awesome, Maharaj.
Yeah, I mean, you can't exhaust this knowledge.
Does it help, Prabhuji?
It does. It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for a lovely question. Hare
Thanks.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, we have got 2 hands raised here. Is it okay, Guru Maharaj, to take it? Because we have got past 18 minutes, 1 hour. So are you okay with the time?
Defer to Sri Devi for a minute, then come
Okay.
back to
Okay.
Parijat.
Okay, perfect.
Humble obeisance, Maharaj, or glory to Prabhupada. So Bhavya's questions were quite intriguing for me, and I was thinking a lot in my mind about Sri Ravi Shankar, who advocates something called Sudarshan Kriya Yoga. So I want to know what that is about, and I also want to know about another popular group called BAPS.
Yes.
Swami Narayan.
Yes.
Very popular. What are they all about? I have no clue, and I'd like to know a little bit.
Next question. She wants to know something that is just a waste of time. So anyway,
Okay.
Parijat, you're on.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Parijata Mataji, please ask. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. So I was just thinking of Vidura, and this purport is really meaningful. So my question is, in what way do Vidura's questions, kind of become a form of seva rather than mere intellectual exercise? He's doing a seva by asking. So in what ways does it become the seva and not just intellectual exercise?
It should lead to seva. Knowledge is a direction towards execution of the activity. And when the execution of the activity is done with realized knowledge, that is perfection, or that is actually Siddhanta. Just like we say, for instance, Narottam Das Thakur, his songs were perfection of the Siddhanta of Vaishnav knowledge. In other words, Shri Guru Charana Padmat Kevalam. In there, he brings in the knowledge in a conclusive way through the glorification of the spiritual master in the form of a bhajan. So when the knowledge actually comes to realization, then that knowledge is none different than bhakti.
So I was just thinking that his questions maybe, they served as a tool for the benefit of all humanity. I mean, like, because he was not asking for his own advantage, but maybe for the upliftment of souls in Kali Yuga.
Yeah, he's Yamaraj, so he's also a great soul, but he's playing the role as a Vidura, a conditioned soul.
And he asked with humility and not with intellectual pride. That's also the mood.
Well, otherwise there's no communication. Intellectual pride blocks the communication. And the
Yes,
spiritual
Maharaj.
master is not obliged to answer questions that are full of pride, intellectual pride, or any form of pride.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Humility is the mood of receptivity. Without humility, you cannot receive what is being given to you, or not fully receive any.
Really important, Maharaj. Thank you.
Okay, good. You want to try again?
Regarding Vidura, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm very much confused at Vidura part. You cleared yesterday that he's a Mahajan, so he can live Nitya Siddha. So,
Vidura?
yeah.
Yeah, well, he's actually Yamaraj, who's one of the 12 Mahajans.
Yeah. So is it like that soul Vidura? He comes from Vaikuntha, who is like Nitya Parshad of Lord Krishna. He comes to that position of Yamaraj, or he later becomes Sadhana Siddha.
How he attained the position of
Like for example, Vidura is a Mahajan,
mhm.
right? So before that, he was playing the role of Yamraj, which is a demigod basically.
Mhm.
So if we take him as a liberated soul, like an eternal liberated soul, Nitya Siddha, and not a fallen soul.
But
So
he's not acting like a liberated soul here.
right. But in the Leela, he is like that. So did Krishna send him from his dham, or how was it?
How did he get to the position of Vidura?
Yes, ma'am.
He was cursed. He was cursed by Mandaka Muni because he had a desire to preach, having his service of just judging the conditioned souls and punishing them. He felt he wanted to get actually preach Krishna consciousness. So he had that desire, and that desire was fulfilled by the curse of Mandaka Muni, where he took birth in the material world.
Maharaj, actually, that was not my question. My question was when that soul, when he took the form of that demigod Yamraj, that time, not the Vidura.
Well, what is his position in the spiritual world?
Yeah.
Does it say anywhere?
No, that's not actually my question. My question is, was he a Nitya Parshad who came to do service for Krishna, or was he Sadhana Siddha? Yamraj.
I don't know.
Yes, but maybe it's my missing.
Doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, because like I don't know, maybe I have a wrong thinking regarding Mahajans, that Mahajans have to be Nitya Siddhas and not Sadhana Siddha. Maybe I'm wrong about it.
Okay, well, go through the Mahajans, then you see. Are they Nitya Siddhas or Sadhana Siddhas, or maybe even some Kripa Siddhas?
Okay.
It could be.
Is Narada Muni also there in Mahajan?
Narada Muni, no, he's not a Mahajan. Let's see. These are the 12 Mahajans.
But Srila Prabhupada somewhere he says that Narada Muni is not Nitya Siddha, he's Sadhana Siddha.
Well, his previous life is discussed in the Bhagavatam as being in the heavenly planets and having committed offense, I think.
There are story of three births. He was previously Gandharva,
Right.
then he was President Dasiputra, something like that. Then
That was the life before Narada Muni. But the life before Dasiputra he was a Gandharva. Yeah.
That means Mahajan can be Kripa Sutra or something as well.
Yeah. Well, take the 12 Mahajans and see. And then you can study Brahma, Shiva, Narada. Narada is mentioned also. Shambhu, Kapila, Kumara, Mano, Janaka, Bala, Bhishma, Bali, Vyasaki, Vayam. And Yamaraj is speaking this verse, so he doesn't include himself in the verse. Okay, Amrita now, you're on.
Hare Krishna. So Guru Maharaj, we talked about that our acharyas has already given us they have already read the Vedas and given us the commentaries, and they've already given us the processed knowledge and already came to the essence. They've already spoon feeded us. So my question is, that is definitely true, but when it comes to neophyte devotees like us or impure jivas like us, we haven't reached to the realized form, even taking this spoon-feeded knowledge. So how do we take this knowledge? This is the real deep knowledge, and to get this spoon feeding, we are not even qualified. So how do we realize this knowledge, even if we are spoon feeded this?
Well, you're speaking about spoon feeding. That means there is a feeding process. When you get full, then you get the knowledge. But unless just like it's mentioned in the Shastras, unless you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, all of the 8 angas of bhakti will never reach perfection in this age, because this is the Yuga Dharma. This is the means for self-realization in this age. So everything really centers around the quality and the development of our chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. And the knowledge we gain also is also come by realization through the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. That's why when Prabhupada would do a program, he would always include chanting, not just give lectures, at least in public programs. He always did that. Because the holy name actually awakens one's attraction for Krishna automatically. And that attraction leads to service. So focus on, just like someone asked Bhakti Vinod Thakur, if we really want to make advancement in devotional service, where in essence should we place our attention? He said attentive chanting. Attentive chanting. And by attentive chanting, we overshadow all of the possibilities of committing any of the other offenses to the holy name. So if you focus on attentive chanting, your knowledge of scripture will also increase. Your knowledge of the practice of bhakti will also become more and more easily understandable. Everything will come through the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That's why Prabhupada would also say even if someone doesn't read the books, but they are engaged in chanting and they're absorbed in chanting, they are just as good as those who have transcendental knowledge, because they have reached it through the process of Yuga Dharma, chanting of the holy name. The holy name is everything. It's Krishna in sound. Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes are also included Nija Sarva Shakti. So everything is included in Krishna's name. So developing the chanting of Krishna's holy name means to fulfill all our desires in the activities of devotional service. Good Lord Chaitanya made it easy, put it all in one area. Because what is this age? What is it? How is that verse? I can't think of it. It's in the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. Sabda Yasmin Jana Yasmin. Yeah, that's the end. But what is the beginning? Prayena aprayesa sabda colonius min jige janaha manda sumanda matayam manya bhagya upanda. This is the quality of people in this age. So therefore, the process is not any of the other, we couldn't do the other processes in previous age. This way, Lord Chaitanya has made it simple or direct, but still to purify yourself through chanting of the holy name is the process. It doesn't come automatically. You have to work at it. You have to connect all of the other processes that make up bhakti with the chanting of the holy name. As Prabhupada said, if you're just chanting the holy name and you're not following the process, you're cooking with smoke. That means you're not getting the full benefit of the holy name. You have to follow the rules and regulations until you get to the point of realizations. Then you can transcend the rules and regulations and develop attraction to Krishna naturally, spontaneously. And it comes with the holy name. After Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes all of the different anarthas, 16 anarthas, 4 categories of 4, and then ultimately he ends by saying, in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he mentions Harinam Sankirtan. He says it crushes to powder all of the anarthas. Chant.
Very well.
Not just chant, but chant with the desire to perfect that chanting where you go through the different stages. You read Harinam Chintami. There's Namaparad, there's Sudanam, not Sudanam, but there's Namaparad, Namabas. Sometimes they give 4, sometimes they give 3. And then ultimately Sudanam, pure chanting. And you think a person on the level of pure chanting doesn't have full knowledge? They have full knowledge. Complete knowledge.
Hope that helps, Amrita Mataji.
Yes,
I
yes.
think there's a verse that illustrates that point also.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Every the process we carry out, each and every lens is backed up by the holy name. So
That's from the
yeah,
Upanishad.
that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yasya bhakta yata devi tata guru tasyaita pratite kartya prakasananta mahatmana. One who has implicit faith in both the spiritual master and Krishna, all the imports of all Vedic knowledge are automatically revealed within the heart. But that's
Okay.
faith in action, not just theoretical faith. Theoretical faith is not real faith anyway.
Thank you,
Faith,
Maharaj.
actual faith means that by executing devotional service, everything is included. I don't need anything else.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Before we go to Parijata Mataji, there's a question lying in the chat for a long time. If it is okay to ask from Brajahari Das Prabhu, is it okay, Maharaj?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you. Since hearing is so essential for spiritual advancement, I'm wondering how how do deaf devotees receive the same benefit when they can't hear lectures or their japa?
Yeah, and they're deprived. But they have programs for the deaf where there are people who do sign languages to
Yeah.
teach people actually knowledge through different kinds of sign languages. I've given class to deaf people already, especially in London.
Yeah.
And they have one person interpreting, and he's doing all kinds of hand movements.
Yeah.
And those people who are deaf, they understand what are the meanings of the hand movements. So they can get something, but because they can't hear, that's a curse. It's some kind of bad karma.
That's bad.
Yeah, you agree?
Thank you.
One question, Maharaj.
Parijata Mataji is waiting before Bhavya Prabhu. Is it okay?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Bobby is going to challenge what I just said. So.
Oh, okay.
It's regarding Karan Khan. I forgot that question. It's very important. If some person who is initiated with Vaishnava mantra, he's completely initiated, he's following all the four regulative principles, chanting all the rounds, and after some time, this person he wants something materialistic, and he does some Karan Khan, some yagyas, and like I just want to know what will happen to such kind of person.
Is he still practicing?
He's practicing Krishna consciousness. He accepts that Lord Hari is the supreme personality of God, and he accepts all the philosophy, but he wants something materialistic. So he's doing some yajna to, for example, Putra Kamishti yajna or any kind of yajna to reduce his karma.
There's some examples in the scriptures of that, where even though one is engaged in pure devotional service, still they have some desire for something material.
What's the story?
Huh?
What's the story?
Vashishta Muni?
And Vishwamitra.
Vishwamitra?
What's the story?
Yeah, but sometimes because of their pure devotional engagement, the Lord will sanction what they do, knowing that that won't take away from their pure devotional service. Yeah, sometimes Prabhupada says, he uses a very simple example. He says, a big man, he can eat anything he wants, but sometimes he wants some puff rice. Just for some variety. So sometimes you get even a great soul who's engaged in devotional service. They want to go do something different. But because of their power of devotional service, it doesn't change their focus. They just do something different for whatever reason, just because they want to. It's not even a material desire, it's just an infatuation or something. That happens.
Nice one. Okay, I was not asking.
You had Bali Maharaj. I mean, he was the king of the demons, but still he was inclined to devotional life. He became a Mahajan.
Yes.
And how can a demon become a Mahajan? But he was. Yes, Virajeshwari.
Say for the chanting. And I first time I saw that Brahma Jyoti poster. So I was just thinking that how we can reach so far.
The one we have in my room here? Yeah.
But not in your room, but long back I've seen for the first time. So then I understood that that there's saying that Hare Krishna Mahamantra is going there. Directly. I was able to connect that, this holy name is the only thing which can go to directly to the Golok.
That's Krishna, Lord Chaitanya's mercy in this age. That's why it's Namo Mahavananaya Krishna Prema Padayate. Yeah.
chanting, then how we can connect? And I used to show them that, oh, this is the only
But-
way that you can go and connect.
It's not just chanting. Chanting should lead to service. Yeah. Without service, the chanting won't develop beyond a certain point. But the chanting is the feature by which we bring people to Krishna consciousness. Because it looks like some kind of entertainment, especially in kirtan. It's in the Kali Yugas, you have to use so many tricks to cheat people out of their wrong ways of thinking. Okay, we got who we got? We got Raj.
Parichata Mataji and Revati Mataji, 3. And we are already 41 minutes over our time, Guru Maharaj. How are you with the time? Okay? Are you okay?
Are you okay?
I'm all right. I'm fine. I'm worried about you. I'm just asking you.
I'm not worried about me.
Okay.
Raj, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, I wanted to ask that what is the condition of a devotee who is not a pure devotee, but he is performing devotional service, but he also has material desires?
Well, if he continues in the process of devotional service, then he'll overcome those material desires. It's a process. You don't start off on the perfectional level. You start off with it, still have material desires, but you're engaged in pure devotional service. Pure devotional service means you're practicing according to how it's meant to be practiced. In other words, according to the guidance of both Guru and Shastra, Krishna also. Even though you're not a pure devotee, you can perform pure devotional service. But then ultimately, if you stay within the process is meant to purify. Cheto darpanam marjanam. After some time, those material desires will fall away. You develop a higher taste. And you also purify your attraction to the material world by developing visayan vinayar vartante nirasya dehinam. Raso pisa. Param drisra nivartante. That's the point. By giving up getting the higher taste, you give up the lower taste. So if Krishna consciousness can't give a higher taste, then it's not Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna consciousness is the internal energy of Krishna himself. Therefore, it is full of bhakti, or it's full of, It's full of ananda. Anandam buddhi vardhanam, unlimited ananda. Just like if you're hungry, and you'll eat anything because you're hungry. If somebody comes along with a chapati with no ghee on it, and you haven't eaten for 2 days, you'll take it. But if somebody comes along with a nice big feast of kachoris and puris and sabjis and, sweets and curries and so many things, you'll push the chapati aside. So we push away material attachments. They disappear, and at the same time, we become more and more focused on devotional service until you reach the stage of, when we say, ayavilasita sunyam, no more material desires. Then you look at this material world and you just think, it's just a prison, that's all it is. It's a prison, that's all. You see it for what it is. And then you're not going to try to be happy in the prison, because prison means to be locked up. So yeah, it's a process. Stay in the process. Prabhupada was even talking today. He was saying, we have to chant. But he said, even if you're chanting with offense, don't stop. Because if you continue with chanting, you'll actually reach perfection. He said, stay with the process. But you have to learn as you're practicing, what to avoid and what to accept. That's the process. So don't give up.
Thank you so much, Raj.
But learn how to execute it most effectively instead of just blindly. If you do it blindly, it might take you many lifetimes. Revati.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I have a question about chanting, which you have answered, Guru Maharaj, but I still wanted to clarify. So, when we actually begin chanting, unless we are in a proper mood, we don't see the benefits. Mm. So, in order to, as you mentioned, full absorption in chanting is what very important, so that knowledge will be revealed and we'll understand our real constitutional position. But in order to get to that full absorption, do we need to first do the hearing process so we can purify, then we chant, or just continuous chanting will help us? Um,
As long as
to
we have material desires, it'll be very practically impossible to get full absorption.
Mm.
So, but the chanting also destroys Teresa's material desires. So just keep chanting until you can actually purify yourself through the chanting.
Okay. Because I experienced that when I'm in a proper mood, my chanting is very good. But if my mood is not good, even though I do 16 rounds or like more rounds, I don't see that thing. So I just wanted to just clarify that.
Bhakti is about moods, the mood of devotion,
Yes.
the mood of surrender, the mood of submission.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for helping us the
Oh.
difference between karma and karma yoga and bhakti yoga. I always had that question, and it got clarified today.
Yeah, just submit yourself to the holy name and don't try to conquer the holy name. Let the holy name conquer you. Parijata. Thank you for being so
Maharaj, I
patient.
have a small question. Yes, I have a small question, Maharaj. I was just thinking, is bhakti the criterion that transforms knowledge into wisdom?
Yeah. Knowledge, when it reaches maturity, becomes one of the qualities is wisdom. One of the qualities also is realizations, which is also a feature of wisdom. So that's mentioned as the qualities of a Brahman, that knowledge and what is it? The 9 qualities of a Brahman. One is theoretical knowledge and one is realized knowledge. So wisdom is knowledge that's more or less on the platform of realization. Realization means it's not something outside of you anymore, it becomes part of your character. We're trying to imbibe these things and make and transform our material character into a spiritual character. As that's happening, this knowledge is actually the transforming thing. When you think through the knowledge, not through some ideas anymore. You connect everything with transcendental knowledge. It becomes part of your way of thinking. It becomes your way of thinking. When you thus learn the truth, you'll know that all living beings are my parts and parcels. They're in me and they're mine. That's realization. We can theoretically accept that, or we can come to the platform of realizing it.
Does
Okay.
that help, Mataji?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. There is one question in the chat from Anjali Kumari. What does Sutanam feels like? I always wonder. Do we have any detailed knowledge about the same which we can hear or read, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, you can Harinam Chintamani by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which he delineates or narrates the different classes of bhakti.
Mm.
So she wants to know what's the experience of Sudanam?
Yeah, feels.
What would you say? How would you describe the feeling of Sudanam?
Guru Maharaj, that verse which Rupa Goswami says about millions of tons and years.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's good. Nice. That's a perfect answer.
Guru
Yeah,
Maharaj, we didn't hear it. Please, can you repeat? Sorry.
yeah, the verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anchalila, chapter 1. What is the verse is, if I can think of the beginning. When I chant the holy names of the Lord, I desire to have many, many millions of tongues. And when I chant the holy names of the Lord, I desire to have many, many millions of ears. When I chant the holy names of the Lord, the holy name goes into the courtyard of the heart, conquers all the mind, conquers over the mind, and all the senses become inert. So this is when Lord Chaitanya heard that verse, spoken by Rupa Goswami. He said he started to dance in ecstasy. So yeah, where is that verse? I think it's look in Antya-lila chapter 1 verse 99. I think it might be
Okay,
that.
let me share that for you.
I do not know how much nectar that you said Krishna.
Yeah.
I do not know how much,
Which chapter in Antilila?
Antya-lila 1.
1.
I think it's verse 99 or 199. I'm not sure.
Okay, let's go to 99 first and see if it is the one. Don't know the nectar of celebrate Krishna.
Yeah, there it
This
is. 99. You got it.
Okay.
Tunde tanvali ratam vinatuna tandavali labdham karna krodha kadambini gatayata karna buddha devya spriham cheta praganam sangini vijayate savendriyanam kritam no jane janitam kriyadbir amrita krishneta varna dvaye. I do not know how much nectar the two-syllable Krishna have produced. You read it, Sukava.
Okay. When the holy name Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. We then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert.
Haribo.
Really nice.
So that's a little indication. There's verses that when one is chanting, they sing, they dance, they cry out, they act like a madman. It cannot be seen in public. So that's mentioned also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I think it's you know that verse?
Yeah.
940?
I don't remember the number.
Your groom Menam it is also symptoms of
Which
If you go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, verse chapter 9, I think it's verse 40 or 41, 42, something like that.
which one, Guru Maharaj?
I didn't read it.
Adi Leela. And the chapter
9.
9.
Maharaj, it is Madhya Leela.
It is?
Yeah, chapter 9, verse 262.
Oh, is it Madhya Leela? Shall I go to
Madhya Leela, chapter 9, verse 2.
Okay, fine. Let's go to Madhya Leela. Madhya Leela, chapter 9. And verse number?
62.
6.
62?
Yes.
Okay. Keep going.
Oh, is it 6? Okay, fine.
That verse 62 or 262?
260.
262.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
These are symptoms of people or persons who have actually, perfected their chanting. There's a certain madness that comes with that perfection. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Really? Translation?
Okay. When a person is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, cries, becomes agitated, and chants just like a madman, not caring of outsiders.
Okay. There you go. Work for it. We do that in Kirtan sometimes.
Yeah. But in chanting, maximum Guru Maharaj, it happens is just you cry. That's it. Nothing else than that.
That's one of the symptoms. But crying out of happiness.
Yeah. The tears just comes out of the eyes and, just feels nice, blissful, but sometimes the tears just comes out. You can't control. Okay. Any more last minute question anyone has got? Nearly 2 hours. So if not,
You can stop here.
yes, is it okay with your permission? We'll stop here. And thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for your time. You've given us 2 hours of your time, which is so grateful for you to have that. And thank you, dear devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, everyone.
So much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Pranam.
Namaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much for the marathon session, Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
You have a
you.
wonderful
Thank you, Guru
life.
Maharaj.
You are very philosophical.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Guru. How long you are in Ujjain?
Thank you, Sukhavamacharji. Yeah.
I'll leave you with one statement, which you're not going to like at all. You're going to think I just ruined the whole program by saying this.
No, Guru Maharaj, you never say anything which is bad. Go on.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything to die for, you have nothing to live for.
That is so true.
If you don't have something to die for, you have nothing to live for. Hare Krishna.
True, Maharaj.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That reminder should be
Yes. When I think about death every day, I will add that, Maharaj. Thank you.
there. Yeah.
Remembering you said that.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Someday we'll do a whole class on death just to
Yes,
teach
yes. That'd be delightful. Actually, thank you.
Death is delightful. Imagine.
Yes. Yes, we are Vaishnavas. We are not afraid of death. We are eternal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of Vaishnava
Yeah.
culture, isn't
Right.
it?
Right.
Why should you be afraid of something that doesn't exist?
Yeah.
No such thing as death. It's just
This is the transformation to the spiritual world, isn't it, Guru Maharaj?
You're already there, but you're not aware of it. That's all.
Yeah.
Your mercy. This is all your mercy, Gurumaharaj. We are nothing. We're nothing.
True.
The sun is always out, but there's a cloud that comes in the way sometimes. And because of that cloud, we make all kinds of philosophies that don't make sense. Well,
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for participating. It was really nice. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Nice to see you. And nice to see you, everyone, as well. Thank you for putting your videos on Amrita Mataji. Thank you for your questions. Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji, very much.
Parikshit Prabhu, how are you feeling? It's nice to see you.
I'm back in the house after 5 weeks of being in the hospital and rehab facility. I'm not out of the woods totally, but better. I mean, if I can come on here and put my camera on, obviously that's great improvement from the way he used to be. But yeah, I get nurse visits now twice a week from nurses and therapists. So the body's become a little weak, but you can't tell them look me in the camera.
You
But
look
I'm just saying,
well.
it's I'm coming to grips with the fact that when you're 73, you may not look 73, but the body inside is 73 and everything going on the slope.
But
So
the
I've
soul
had to
is not,
accept it.
Prabhuji, the soul is not 73, so don't worry. You're still young.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Amitanam, I'll be in contact with you in the next couple of days. Okay, Hare Krishna. Jai.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much.
Thank you.
We're very
Hare
fortunate to have Candramauli Swami explain things the way he does, boy. We're
Beautiful.
very fortunate.
Amazing
Extremely
sessions.
fortunate.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I'll end the call now.